MD is having one of those think outside the box, where we just had an angel lit at 6:33 p.m. Today is April the 12th. As you can see, the bop is already set for that blessing. April the 12th of 2022, and at 6:33 p.m. and we'll make mention on this one video of how while we were at the water, we had the ministering angel. So we want to make sure we put it on this particular video to reference, because to think outside the box and having a angel lit, it just wasn't any type of angel lit. It was a blue angel. We were in the closet of that unit. It was one of those closet kind of encounters. And we were putting up that DOU, D-O-U, putting that specific praise garment item up. And as we were doing so, we were thinking about a message that the Lord gave us unto his servant years ago. And we'll go to the Private Light Collection 5000 and look for it so we can put it with this one particular video. And so this is all transpiring together at the water, ministering angels. Then shortly after that, go into that unit closet, and right there putting up the DOU, which is do you. That's where we had an angel lit. The angel lit when his servant was saying, we're making history. We were talking along the lines of how we were walking through the areas of, or giving a little bit of insight to the rod. And the first rod that was from my father, and then we went on to the other rod that looked like a little magical wand, and then we talked about the one walking cane or stick, or however you refer to it as, that we had made for our mom, that our mom had, and we were thinking about how all three of them were either misplaced, lost, or someone else took it. And how the Lord later on came back and gave his servant light to how the reason why those three rods were lost like they were, even with the words spoken to his servant from my father that said, you understand, keep the rod over my people. And because the Lord did not want his servant to put out or keep the wrong rod over his people, because how long are you going to have to correct the people over and over and over? And you wonder why Moses and the children of Israel stayed around that mountain for so long, correcting the same thing over and over. No, when is the people just going to get it? Or when is the leader going to move on, go beyond, go further? And so we thought about that one message that's over there in that Private Light Collection 5000 that said, if it worked for you, it ought to work for me. And right away, the Spirit brought it back to us, because that message is still a message in private and all, but it's still relevant today, but going to a new place in the Spirit and all that. Yes, what worked for those in the day, you'll hear some folks say it's not working for us today, but it is. It truly is, and all in different ways. You understand? Just like we couldn't use that rod, you understand, like to correct or to beat or to, you understand, just whoop a people with. The Lord gave us to understand the rod as it appears to, comfort. You see, to thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. We're to comfort with that. And so moving a little bit further, so this don't be a long video, but we understand the light in a higher place of the Spirit. That's why we lost all three of those rods, and then those that really get within an arm reach and a hug and really tripping over MD heel and all. You hear it like this, that the Lord spoken to his servant and said, by losing or misplacing or even having the rods taken, It was so his servant would not stretch. He said, I will not have you stretching sickness over my people. So MD don't understand the ones that know they sick and all, and they want to act like that God is using them for miracles and knowing that they are sick like that, and they're laying hands on folks and transferring all that sickness and diseases on the other folks, and they wonder why things are happening in their life and they can't seem to find cure or deliverance from that. But that's not the reason for this video. We want to stay with making history, all right? And so when we look back, as the Spirit was taking the servant over this in the Spirit about how, he wouldn't allow me to stretch forth sickness over his people through those rods, and how he gave us light to there they are, the rulers and all, the two rulers and things like that, and that's what we use now, and all in place of the other rod that you heard his servant talk about, those rods that he gives us to use, that right there, the rulers. And fast forward, because that's not where we want to be either, but if it worked for you, it ought to work for me. You understand? And so we're going to look for that in the private light collection, because yes, it should work for us, but it's working like God is using different people, different method, different ways. You understand? And the way that God used Moses is not the way he's using Mother Doris. He gave Moses, 10 commandments, yet he gives MD 22 right here. Moses had the shalt not, yet he gives MD 22 of these right here, right there, and then he gives us 38 of the SHALL, and where there's no restrictions and no restraints, you understand, no limitations, because Moses was dealing with a hard, I'm going to go there, a hard-headed, stiff-necked, bent over backwards, did not want to live right kind of people, and yet they still had the name chosen. But what God has given unto us, it's not out there. But if you read into that blessing of promise 1 through 22 of Isaiah 61 through 22, you'll see in that 21st number, it should be right here real quick. Let's hurry. Right behind there, you'll see that it says, thy people also shall be all righteous. We could quote it, but we would like for you to read it and see it for yourself. And so knowing that we're dealing with a righteous people, we don't have to keep saying the same thing over and over and over. And should we do it one time or two or three, is to get it in your spirit. You understand? To get it in your spirit, something of substance in your spirit, to be able to, when you're coming up against certain things like the wiles of the evil one and things like that, you know how to be able to stand, and you're strong to do so. So that being, strong nation. So that being said, if it worked for them, it should also work for us. And it's still true to this day. So that word is relevant. So we're going to look for it, because at that time we were saying how the Lord is using us to do things differently and all. But the same God that departed the Red Sea is the same God that's doing, you might not agree, but bigger, better, brighter things today. That God is escalating, doing bigger. This is a big God that we're talking about, because what we're talking about is all spirit. You see, so you can't put that in a box, and you can't limit that and put restrictions on that. So we don't know until the Spirit moves how the Spirit is going to move. All right. So that being said, we're going to look for that. We're going to put that out, because as we were saying, we're not trying to just, like if you look into the world today, everybody's rushing and get a mic in their hand, rushing to become famous, rushing to become rich, rushing to become popular, and all of that, and people looking like they're running out of time and the earth is about to come to an end, and all these kind of things. Yet at a moment when everybody's rushing and all, the Spirit of God is having us to take our time now to rest, to have a moment to enjoy the fruit of thy labor and those kind of things, right? And so when you look at this and all, and this is because we know that what worked for them is also going to work for us, but that is we must be able to say and show how that God is working in this day and time, and how God is using people like his servant and those that really are carrying a message to take people to glory. How he's the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. And we like to back out of that, calling that he without putting that I am or Lord God somewhere in the midst of that so you can see it. But nevertheless, as we were making that observation through the Spirit, and if it worked for them, it ought to work for me. But we must give way that it's working how the Spirit would cause it to work, by taking us by a way that we know not of, which means that the way that God might be using his servant, you may never have seen it before. You understand, but it's still God. You understand, operated in different levels, but it's still God. And so, that being said, and how we're literally taking our time, not rushing. There was a time where we had to hurry, and that was to hurry to my favor, and all. But right now we're looking at people, and they're rushing like that because of panic, because of fear. And the Lord is like, I'm not going to use you like that. I'm using you in another place. It's not even faith anymore, because you'd have to take that faith journey with us, and you see the faith to faith to see the now glory to glory. And so that being said, as we were saying, we're not rushing to try to do this in a day and things like that. Like some folks, it's got to be done now, and if it doesn't get done now, then it's just won't get done. Those kind of things. We're not in that type of rush. We're not in that type of panic. No matter if somebody is yelling, the sky is falling, let it fall, or we just believe that God is going to take care of his own. Now, for some folks, that sounds ignorant, that sounds dumb, but only a fool has said in his heart there is no God. So we wait patiently for the Lord to get us to this place. And do you believe, certainly not MD, that the Lord would bring us to this place and then just leave us here? We'll step into Isaiah 66 for you to know better, that God will not do that. That's why we depend and trust God and thank God for the Spirit. We got to get out of here, or we'll have a long video. And so that being said, the blue angel lit just when we say we're not trying to do this in no one day, and things like that. Like we got to hurry to do that because we have light to the one day. So we don't have to rush and hurry like that. So what we understand, that it's not that kind of panic, somebody having their hand about to hit the button and boom, that's it. No, it's not about that. And I am has shown unto us that it's not about that. So when we went to that place in the Spirit to say that, we're not rushing like everybody else, that's not the way God has given us to do that. And we're making history, and history takes time. And when we say, Lord have mercy, wasn't trying to do that. And when we said it like that, that's when the blue angel lit. So we got to get into this agenda, MD right here, MD agenda, and write that down because we have a space in there just for the angel lit. Well, we got to go.